So hello everybody, welcome to this evening's event. It's from graffiti to game graphics. My name is Miguel Montesinos. I'm Huawei's technical director for games. And today I'll just be your host because we're gonna have a really great hour in front of us where we will hear from different people, the importance about graphics in games. Graphics is the first thing you're gonna see, So a bit the same thing happens with food, unless they're attractive, you won't get near that. But also it's a thing that is going to be a companion through the whole journey while you're playing. The atmosphere is gonna be created by that, the characters. So the great thing is today we are having as a speaker and guest, we have a Ciselle Morel. She's a film and game director. She comes from Look Up Games, which is a game studio. And she will be speaking about, how she came, her background as a graffiti painter and photographer, and how these all led to a journey that ended up in making actually video games. And today she's going to speak about her current development, that is Kai Kai Balao, which was a game that started as a PC game, but now is being ported, under development to become a mobile game. So that will be the main dish, but stay tuned because at the end, we are gonna have Kira also from our team. She will speak to you about apps app. So if you're a developer, you have any kind of app or game, this is really interesting for you because you can win up to 200,000 euros or worth of cash prizes, okay? So we will tell you more about that information and how to get the money. But for now, the main dish, like I said, please welcome Ciselle and her speech about from graffiti to game graphics.
Okay, hi everybody, and thank you, Miguel, for this introduction. This is my talk. Can you guys see this like a Zoom thing, like Leo wants to enter the room?
Yeah, I just opened it for him, yeah.
Okay, great, all right. So I'll go a bit through the journey of going from graffiti to mobile graphics, and then we'll sort of progressively dive more into what it means to make graphics for games. Okay, so this is me being a teenager, going by the name Simba, and this was really the first sort of encounter I had with colors, contrast, and really like not overthinking a lot aesthetics. And I think this is always a great way to begin because you follow more intuitively what your heart wants to put out there. And the funny thing is that graffiti has this really like gamey element in it as well. It is about like putting a lot of things out there and not getting caught. And it's all very teenager-like. So please don't get encouraged because it can also go very wrong. But it's how I started. And that took me to Brazil, where I encountered a completely different phenomena, but still related. It was still art. It was balloons, air balloons made out of paper. And for me, this was even more fascinating because actually you could make even more creative art pieces. You could make it with everything you loved. Like here you have some people that did for San Andreas, you can do it for Tupac, you can do whatever you want. And again, this freedom, I think is really important in order to start finding your own style and what you like. You need this exploration mode.
So sorry to interrupt you, but I don't know if it's, maybe we have a problem, but we are only seeing like the cover, the first slide.
Okay.
So we are losing part of the...
If I do like this,
okay,
are you
now
seeing everything?
Yes, at least Yeah, I mean, we can shoot the preview and
When I do
all
this, you see this, but you don't see that.
Okay, now we see from graffiti to mobile games. Yeah.
Yeah, but you
And
don't
we
see
can
me
see the
switching.
logo.
Okay, but okay, you don't see me switching in between the slides.
No.
Okay, all right. I'll just stop sharing and do it again.
Okay. Okay, try to switch now. Now I'm seeing the paper balloons.
You're not, am I switching?
No, real life as a game. I only see one. Okay, just go with the did mode. At least we can see what's going on, even if it's not as
all right. So yes, so as you can see here, here are the graffitis, and here are the balloons. The part that was really interesting about the balloons for me was that it was even more of a sort of game world, you know, but it was real. So these balloons in Brazil, they are illegal. Even though they have been part of Brazilian culture for more than 300 years, they are, since 98, they were legal, but people still do it. And they race after them once they've been released in order to be the first ones to catch it. So this for me was like a really fascinating world, and also a little bit terrifying, because it was even more illegal than graffiti. You know, it was really looked ill upon by the government, because they can set fire to things, but it's also associated with people that live in favelas, which the government in Brazil really persecute a lot. And so I started making a documentary about this. And after a while, I began thinking, after I had actually started documentary, I had gone very far with the film, I realized that most of the people that I related to, most of the people that I grew up with, and the people I really wanted to see this, they didn't really watch documentaries. So I grew up with a lot of people that would play GTA, they would play all kinds of shooter games, and I really wanted to show them something different. Like, what fascinated me about the baloeiros, the people that made balloons, was like, you can't be tough, you can't be street and be an artist. You know, you can be like, it was allowed to be a nerd and to be really like detail orientated with colors. So I wanted to show that. I wanted the people in my neighborhood to think they were going to play a GTA game, but really take them down a different road. And this is what it looked like. Here I am actually going to put it in full mode so you can get the full screen. And let me just check that you got the sound. Everything's cool. All right.
Mas você tá ligado que hoje em dia os caras querem acabar com a gente, né?
Isso aqui é iogurte, né? Para, perdeu, para, porra, mano, perdeu. Bora, arrombado. Valeu, meu cria, tu é brabo.
Caraca, menor, é isso aí, mano. Estou muito orgulhoso de você.
All right. So can you just confirm you're seeing a different slide or not?
Now I see the authenticity community.
Perfect. Okay, now we are rolling. So as you saw, what we did was really to combine like some of the earlier GTA games with a lot of the aesthetics from the Baloeiro world. And now I will go deeper into what the main pillars were for us in order to really approach the art style. But in order to approach the art style, we have to go into what is the most important thing to transmit with this game. And here it's the art, it's the balloon art. Like that is really some of our main missions is really how can we bring more art into games? And authenticity, that's the whole like documentary aspect. How can we make people feel that what they're playing is actually part of a reality with real people, you know? So you're not just playing a character, you're not just meeting a character, they're all real people, it's their voices. And community, because how can a culture that gives you up to 3 years of prison still be so strong? Because it creates community, you know, it's about brotherhood, and it's really insignificant whether it's balloons or graffiti or your family or your football club. I believe that the more community we can create and the more aware we are of it, the better world we have. Miguel, just confirm me again. Is this the next slide? Can you see the next slide?
I can see, yeah, I can see the logo, all the awards that you
Great,
got for
yes.
this game.
Okay, yeah. So it went really well for this game in the very indie way. And then I had a realization where it was like, okay, well done, but my people, my friends are still not seeing this game because it's too indie, you know, it's PC, and even for you to reach this kind of game, you need like then you need a lot of marketing to put it out to sort of reach the streets. So we started rethinking, and that's how we decided to go mobile. We also really wanted to, we wanted the game to reach Brazilians, you know, and a lot of the Baloeiros, they couldn't play it because they didn't have PCs. So now we're entering mobile, the mobile aspect, which had a lot more challenges than I actually thought. First of all, we had to rethink the gameplay, and that is like, I'll go very briefly through that. But basically everything changes, right? All the mechanics have to change. And we ended up combining the race part. As you can see, the girl over here in the running through the city, she needs to catch the balloon where she catches flame. And this flame is a currency that she can use in the community to interact with people, to make choices, to do favors for people. And the better that she does in this community, like the more respect she gains, the more heart she will have. And these hearts, they are lives. So whenever she gets caught by the police or she's beat up by the police in the favela or outside the favela, she then has more lives. All right, this is an example of a dilemma, right? So here you meet Sulu, who asks you He tells you a little bit about loyalty and pride, and you can choose to get a tattoo or not. So if you did it, you gained some heart. But everything that you do will affect how the world reacts to you outside. So now this will trigger that the police may have a different reaction towards you. This is also an example of how we combine everything with real life videos. All right, so let's have a look at, this is the video for the mobile game.
Balão é uma família. E é uma vida que a pessoa leva, escolhe aquilo. Vou ser baloeiro. Veste a camisa e vai ser baloeiro. E defender. Se eu precisar defender, eu defendo todos eles.
Got it. So let's dive a bit into the process of defining an art style, because one thing is that I can have a lot of ideas and desires of what I want this game to look like, but really when you work with a team, you need to be very specific and you need to create rules, aesthetic rules that your 3D artists or your 2D artists can follow. All right, so in the beginning of this process, it was very important for us to include the community. And luckily, we already have had an online community that was alive, you know, it was pretty active from the PC game. And this allowed us to receive a lot of material and feedback on the stuff that we were producing. Basically, the vision with the art style was the more collective it can be, the more people will identify with it and the more they'll play it and feel represented. So we asked questions to different people in our circle and asked them to send us pictures of what they thought a favela was to them. And here is a little bit of and then we did collages with them. So this was a collage of a friend of ours where it was about empowerment. That's why we have the Superman. It was about velocity, the guy in the car, a lot of skin. And then you can't see it from this text, but then we have the Jesus in the balloon because there's also a lot of faith involved, both in the balloon environment and in Brazil. We received over 400 pictures, which we used for everything. We used to make characters, we used to make textures, and really it was a lot of work to sort all of that out, but also intriguing because this is how I believe, like, this is how I like to create games, you know, it's like creating these bridges in between reality and the digital world. So aesthetic rules, what were the aesthetic rules that we decided upon while building this world? First of all, we made some rules for these sort of building blocks. You know, we defined, okay, this is the roof there's going to be. We're going to have different sizes of boxes, like as if it was Lego. And then the level designers can use this freely, you know. as long as they combine it, they do it within the rules that we set. And this also meant like windows were cut out from real life pictures, facades were cut out from real life pictures. In our community, we asked people, what's your favorite shop? And then people would send us a picture of their favorite shop, and then we'd put it in. Yes, so color palette also very important. There you have to make some more sort of artistic decisions. Like you make a choice, you can't have all the colors in the world, you have to have a set of colors that you choose to go for. And here we decided that it had to feel warm, you know, the more warm it could feel, the better. I put this vehicle here so you can see we use the same aesthetic rules, you know, it's like also cut out. There's always a real life texture onto the object. We included a lot of different areas around the favelas. We wanted it to be as if you were having a snippet, a window into Rio. And of course that has a different color palette as well. It's normally much wealthier. So we did a bit colder, and the buildings are also completely different, as you can see. All right, and this obviously transferred into the level design. Just so you can see the picture here, we have Rocinha, which is actually the largest favela in Latin America. It's very specific, the geography around it, because we have actually down there where you see the skyscrapers, this is the most wealthy area in Rio. And it's just divided by a road, then you have the favela, and down you have the beach, you have jungle. And this to me was like a best example of variety and diversity in environment, you know. All right. So the level designers, they took this as the main reference, and then they started building. They were like, okay, we're gonna make a beach, we're gonna make the rich area, we're gonna make 2 favelas, one that's harder, one that's easier. And yeah, it was like building Lego, but with real life as a reference. So back to one of our main pillars, which was art, the balloon art. Here we did as many reproductions as we could. So it was important that, for example, very popular balloons, like these ones that you see the real life pictures of, that they were recreated in 3D, so that people that had experienced this balloon in real life, they could also go in and feel it again, you know, because once this balloon is up, then it will only have 2 or 3 lives, depending on if it lands well, you know, sometimes it goes to fire. And then we asked in our community, who would you like to have a balloon with? Then people sent in, oh, we want this rapper, Mano Brown. He is the king of hip hop. Okay. Another one, Sabotage. And really, I hope we can continue doing this and just having all these great people from history in the game. Characters. So a lot of the pictures we received, we transformed the people in them into characters. I just want to let you know that the emojis I put is because these kids, they are showing hand signs that we cannot show, you know, just so you don't think it's part of the actual characters. But that is another problem with using real life, is that real life will give you what it is, you know, it is what it is. So you have to just work with it. You can twist it until a certain point, but all the time thinking like, okay, how much am I compromising for the game? you know. All right, so this is an example of our three like main rules of the character presentation. You would first meet this character in 3D, which is made in Character Creator in Revolution, and basically it transforms the picture into a fully modeled, rigged character. And you have to do a lot of adjustments. Also, this program is not very adjusted to, let's say, all kind of genetic features. And that is a problem that we hope they will be solving as they are developing the program even more. But so here you see, this is him in real life. This is his reaction when you choose not to make a balloon tattoo. And this is his 2D representation. Yeah. All right, UI, a very essential part of graphics. It seems very simple because its most important function is just to be functional and give you the feedback that you need, the info that you need. But also I always find it really boring to just go with the normal, like, okay, everybody uses this kind of thing or this kind of box or whatever. So we try to go into what is it to be in a totally normal cell phone situation. You know, how does people really communicate? How does balloon makers communicate with each other? And for that, we used a lot of emojis and these references, which are quite, some of them are a bit controversial, they're a little bit polemic, and I'll tell you why. It's because all of these stickers and emojis, they are used a lot for baile funk things and for all kinds of like groups that are in internally running in favelas. So it's almost a language developed in itself that uses pop culture and sort of messes with it, you know. And I think it's really great. It's not very beautiful, like aesthetically beautiful, but it says a lot. And the best part is that it's created by people, you know, so that means it does express something. People express something and they can read it. These are some of our first baby sketches of like our UI, and it's not very great, but I'm showing it to you anyways. Basically, some of the problems you can see here is that you can't read the numbers that are on top of how much flame, how much heart you have. And also the heart is not very readable. The flame has a little bit too many colors. Yeah, even the whole barometer is not very precise. Also, the boxes are just very standard. I'm not saying we completely nailed it, but I do like this much better because I think it goes with the aesthetic, the meshing up aesthetic. I think the heart became more juicy. And then we made sort of bling elements to have as a backdrop to the numbers that you were gaining. We also used the like WhatsApp interface of like when you're communicating and interacting with these characters.
Tem coisas que o seu Mastercard não paga. Aqui, ó.
All right, this is Tan. We'll get back to Tan in a bit. I'm reaching the end, so if you're still there, don't worry, we're soon gonna get to some conclusions. One of my main thing that that is more of a question for people to decide on themselves is really if you want to make something commercial that you can easily pitch to investors or whatnot, doing something like this is risky, you know, because it does not follow the main, the common aesthetic rules that you could listen in a tutorial or read in a book or whatnot. But you also, like, if you want to make something that stands out, you have to take the risk, you know, then you can decide upon certain parameters that you are then saying, for example, like we did in the first game, well, we'll use the GTA San Andreas look, and then we'll just spice it up with a lot of other things. Then you are balancing the amount of riskiness, you know. You can also go all the way, but then you might also exclude some people that are not ready to digest a more risky art style. More specifically on your graphics, there's the whole technical part, which I didn't touch too much upon because it's that is very complex, and there is a lot of like trial and error. There's a lot of tutorials because it constantly changes as well. You all the time have new things that can optimize, and for this you mostly, I would say, you just need to ally with people that will be just as nerdy as you to dive into how to optimize, you know, how to make the things run properly. Specific, like there's polygons and all the 3D stuff and all the that you're making, but also us that used a lot of videos, you really have to nerd out what kind of solutions you can find for it to run properly. And test a lot, test. So I got my friends to give us a little hello. I hope you'll listen.
Estou aqui para falar para vocês desse jogo que chegou agora, para mostrar um pouco da nossa realidade aí, do que é o balão, tá? O resgate. Uma das partes mais emocionantes do balão, tá? Adrenalina de correr atrás de um balão, poder subir em cima dos telhados. Uma aventura perigosa que hoje é chamada de crime aqui no Brasil, tá? E como um baloeiro eu posso falar que me sinto extremamente feliz em saber que através de um jogo vamos poder passar um pouco do que é essa realidade nossa aqui. Não somos criminosos, gostamos da arte, gostamos de brincar. Nada mais do que é a brincadeira.
All right. So really with Tan's message here, it's just, I think that's the most important thing I really have to say is that if you can make something, I mean, now that we are in this world of creating stuff, like if you can create stuff that will mean something to people, that may change something, then do it, you know, do it. Here you get just a snippet of my overall vision of this whole project, which is not just a game, it's really how can we overlap everything that's physical and digital, you know, how can we make genres talk to each other? So the documentary that I started making, I'm finishing now, and I'm including stuff from the game in it. I'm then using a lot of the same characters in the game because I want people that never play games, but that watch documentaries to maybe try a game and feel what it's like to make choices for themselves or be in the shoes of a baloeiro themselves. As well as I want people that play games to actually maybe go into and watch this documentary and see, okay, damn, that is like all the emotional backdrop, that is his intimate life, his family life, you know, to have more of a context. And then the best part, which is let's have some balloons out there in the world, you know. Can we combine this with online communities? Can we make people get so interested that they want to support these balloon makers in making their designs, making balloon releases happen in the world, of course, super safe, because we are also about safety and all of that. But for that to happen, we need people to be open towards the art form in the first place. And actually the VR and the XR experiences, we also have some prototypes in development. So that was actually my last words. Kira, do you want to take over and talk a bit about how others can dive into gaming, creating games?
Yes, Cecile, thank you very much for giving so fantastic insight into mobile graphics design. But maybe we will handle first questions, because I guess that our audience have a lot of questions to you, and we would like to ask you. And probably I will be the first. So you mentioned something about testing. So that testing.
Yes.
So how do you usually test this prototype for mobile devices? Because as far as I understood, this application is not available for the end users yet, and you are working on the prototype version at the moment.
Yeah, we have a demo with like 7 levels and quite a few characters, and like it's like a small game, and basically testing, I think I was always a little bit intimidated by testing, because you realize always as a director, or the one like with the dream of making it, is always very hard to see things not working or not turning out as you wanted. But it's the most efficient way to take very fast steps towards your a more functional demo or the full game. So what we did was really to first of all have people in our team that would test once a day, sometimes the same build, just to keep on testing, then once a week. Then there would be like a build we'd be working on for weeks, and this was the biggest problem, is when you try to put a lot of things in the same build, because it almost always goes wrong, and then you will spend more time figuring out where the flaw was. So it's better to make as many builds as you can and test. And once you have a working build with gameplay, it doesn't have to be beautiful at all, sent out to friends, you know, but people that can be ready to test something very simple, you know. That would be my advice on that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so it looks like we don't have any questions. In this case, I have a question. So could you please tell more about the company? So for example, I'm not really familiar with games development and game studios. So what I would like to know, that if you have, so what is the, how many people you have in your team, and how many of them are responsible for the graphics design? Because so yeah, how many? It's like maybe, yeah, how important
So
is graphics design? Yeah.
yeah, we were a sort of shifting team, where we, because it was like when you start making a game, unless you're very lucky and have like a big investment to begin with, a lot of stuff is done voluntarily, right? That means that you have people working for 2 months, then they have to take a job, then you don't see them so much, then they come back. And in overall, I think we have been like 30 people on this project, you know. This was for the mobile game, and we have been developing for like 6 or 7 months.
Mm.
For the graphics, we were two 3D artists and one 2D artist, and then me and an art director as well, who was a lot there to also develop the style. Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like something like 20% out of the teams who are doing graphics design usually in games companies.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think more 30 is probably better, but yeah, you work with what you have.
Okay, so I would like to ask participants who joined this event today, if you have any questions. Yeah.
Ida, we have one in the chat. It comes from Guo, not from Norway. He asks, what does Kai Kai Balau mean?
So Kai Kai Balau means fall balloon, and it's a traditional song that was used before the balloon culture became illegal. So it's I think all countries have these traditional folklorical songs. So imagine one of your folklorical traditions in whatever culture you're from became illegal, and this is the song that was sung, like that was used to celebrate this tradition. And we thought that was really an interesting way to also put into light that it used to be legal. You know, if there's so many children's songs, there's so many things on the internet, when you Google it, that goes straight into, you know, this is the song about balloons. Yeah.
Okay, for me, well, first of all, thank you. I mean, an amazing journey that you've, let us be
Should I go out
participant.
of the should I go out of the stop screening so we can the stop screen share so we can see each other's faces or not?
Yeah. Yes, we can.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
no problem.
Because I feel very weird not looking at
Okay.
just looking at my own screen. So let me just
Okay.
do this.
So yeah, first thing, thank you. I mean, I didn't had an idea of the Baloiro culture. This was, I mean, really a thing, no? Because like you said, it covers so much more. It's not just handcrafting. It gets art, it gets community, it gets culture. So, and trying to get that into a game is huge. So thanks for that. In the part of questions, because there's still some things that we want to say today, I would like to know how was like the difference. Now you said you had you're aiming a lot of platforms, PC, console. Now, how was the porting from one thing to another? How it changed the camera, the controls, even the mechanics of the game, right?
It changes everything, and that's why it was like much more of a challenge than we thought, because we were just as ambitious with the mobile game as we were with the PC. Like, we wanted it to be an open world where you navigate almost as if it was the PC game, but navigation on cell phone is really hard, and also the camera view is a very, very hard balance to find, because the more top down you're like forced it to be, you know, the higher up, the less connection you feel with the character. And this is where I always react, because I want people to feel connected with the characters, you know. So when we see Sulu in one of the characters, who's a 3D model, we're so far from him, you know, and I wanted people to feel them. That's why we had to do all these different kinds of like 3D, then you enter 2D mode, then you enter the real life. So to create as many proximity strategies as possible, really.
Okay, that's really nice. I mean, you get an extra depth from that. Yeah, that's a cool idea. I think Jonathan has also a question, I believe. Let's try to unmute him.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Hi, Cecil, and thank you so much for a great talk. You mentioned the fact that you wanted your project to be on mobile because indie gaming on PC doesn't reach as far and doesn't reach the audience that you wanted to reach. And I think personally that that's a very considerate and very important aspect to keep in mind when working as an artist, is to kind of expand as much as possible. The question I was wondering is, obviously being on mobile is in an effort to reach out, but do you feel you gain any creative possibilities that are not possible with, for example, graffiti or photography, documentary working besides this?
When working on the mobile format?
Right. What does it enable you to do that you couldn't do so otherwise?
I think with what really mobile forced me to do is to think of whatever I want to create almost as haikus, you know, haikus, like everything needs to be so simple that you're like, you're forced to think whatever big idea you have is like, okay, so I want to transmit all of this with community. How can I find a mechanic that is very simple that will show this kind of resource management in a community? And then how can I show what a community is in the simplest, cheapest way all the time, you know? So I think it's almost more of like, it's a really, really good exercise. And then what I found most interesting as like a fun part was really to enter all this like digital language that is already there, you know? So we have a lot of effects that is like emoji rains. If whatever you do, then you get different kinds of emoji rains, you get all kinds of weird interactions that come from a cell phone language, and that you don't really, they are just there. Like we see them as just things that are overflowing our internet, you know, our use on the cell phone. But how can you actually use it? You know, can it create a feeling in the player that, what is it to feel a heart, like an emoji that is like with love hearts, but he's giving the finger, you know? What does that mean? You know, how can we play with these feelings? But that said, actually, I think I would just take an opportunity to ask you a question, because I know that you also work with character creator, and you also do these kind of bridges in between reality and 3D. So why do you do it? And like, what's your experience with it?
Right. Well, thanks for asking. Me and Cecil met earlier and we discussed in length kind of like the relationship between 3D and reality in multiple ways. And I mainly I use character creator as well to create these two avatars that are kind of like reoccurring characters. And for me, using 3D is kind of a way to circumvent other media. So I would love to be able to paint, but I can't really. And I would love to be able to do a lot of other things, but I couldn't really do it. So 3D has kind of like been a method for me to do a lot of other things very quickly. So I can create kind of like, I can respond to my characters because they're dynamic in a sense, like they are able to move both digitally, and if I make a video piece in a sense that paintings couldn't do. So for me, the most important thing in 3D is animation, because that's the thing that kind of like approximates humanity the most. So I think animation is key, but it's been really interesting seeing all your different usages of media. So you have both 2D, you have a painting, like you have a hand-drawn style kind of, and you have the 3D
Yeah.
model, you also have the video. And I feel that's a cool way to kind of like get this human essence out of something that's distinctly not human.
Yeah, it's a very important aspect that you mentioned, because my feeling with 3D, I was always very reactive towards 3D because I find that it always had this uncanny, like, non-real look. You know, when I see this character of Sulu, he feels dead to me. And so, and I still, you know, even when something is really well done in 3D, yeah, I can see how some people can feel something, but I don't. But I can see it as a representation of him. If I see, if it's combined with other things, then I do feel something, you know. And I think this was the challenge that was really exciting, was like, can we create feelings in a mobile game? Can we make people feel intrigued and feel reality in a mobile game? Because that's not normally what it's associated with, you know.
Right.
Can we make something that is casual or something you do on the train actually be like, whoa, I took a trip to Brazil and I met these people, and when I go to the Instagram of the game, I can even meet them, you know. I can like comment on them. Yeah.
Okay, do we have any questions from our audience? So I think that there might be some questions. If not, I have the last maybe question to you. Cecile, so the thing is that I see that you really like this project, and what I understood that you have been working in this project for more than 1 year, something like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and also what I noticed that you got some awards, yeah, for this. So you attended maybe different conferences, games conferences. Could you tell more about this kind of results, your achievements you are proud of?
Wow. Okay. I was already feeling a bit hot by the weather here, but okay. So I think the whole team was very surprised actually that we were so positively met by a very, what can I say, intimidating industry. I'll just be honest. But it was very interesting how people that have developed huge games would come and in this, like, we were in IGF in San Francisco, and people would feel intrigued, even though I admit our game has bugs, you know. It really has a few bugs, and this is it hurts for me when I play it. Like, I almost can't play it, but people could look through it and get it and feel stuff, and that was really, really big to see, you know. It's of course it's always nice that people get what you're trying to do, and more importantly that this creates, like, if you imagine a lake, you are throwing a rock and you're creating circles, right? So the more circles, like the more you reach, and then you will eventually reach what was the main purpose at some point. This is how I see it, you know. So I really want people in Brazil especially to look at the culture differently, to be able to see the art in it, and instead of just like, no, it's terrible, that they can actually give it a chance, because maybe there is a gameplay that is fun, maybe there is a framing of it that's different. And that's really what recognition does, you know, whether we will like it or not. Getting recognized helps you spread those rings and makes it reach important people that may want to change stuff.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I got it. So what I really liked, so that what I see, that you enjoy what you are saying, talking about. So it comes from your heart. So, and it's, I can say that it motivates a lot. So people who are listening to you and who were listening to you today. So thank you for this great insight into the mobile games graphics design. It was really special because I can say that so that the games we usually play, they are different. We used to play a lot casual games. Actually, maybe this is like the trend now. What you showed to us today, it's different, and this is about the culture. It's about, it comes from the real life, and it's about how to make how to turn reality into the real life. So thank you for this great insight. Yeah, and
Thank you
I
for
would,
the invite, and thank you for the questions.
yeah, you're welcome. So I really like ask questions. So yeah, and
Yeah,
now
thank
I
you.
would.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now what I would like to tell you, so that I see that there are a lot of students today, so who joined this event, and a lot of people, and probably perhaps some of them, some of you already have your own mobile game or mobile app you are working on, and I would like to introduce you Huawei Apps App. This is a contest for mobile developers, and we have it. This is our annual contest, and we invite students, developers like you, to develop your application, your mobile game maybe, and enter it into the competition for a chance to win one of the prizes. And we have a very big, very impressive budget for Europe. This is around 200,000 USD dollar. It will be. I would like, what you need to do. You need to just to sign up with your Huawei ID and submit an application that you have developed. Yeah, please go to the yeah. This event already started. It was announced last week, and you need to develop your application and integrate one of the Huawei open capabilities, or maybe a Huawei mobile services. So it might be, for example, Map SDK. It might be Push. It might be a Huawei Games service. For more information, I will share with you the link now in the chat. So, and you can check how to do this, please. And also we have a Discord channel. In Discord channel, you can if you join our Discord channel, you can you will be you up to date with all information about this event. So the deadline for submission is 9 of October, and after that we will have a review session, and we will announce the winners in November. So please join, and you have a chance to win one of the prizes. So please keep online. I will show you. I will share the links with you. Just a moment. Yeah. So here you can find the link, and now you can find the our Discord channel. Okay.
Sorry, Kira, where
Yes.
are you sharing these links? I'm not seeing them in the chat. Okay,
Ah,
now we got, okay. Okay, we got
okay.
some
It looks
help.
like,
Yeah.
yes. So it looks like it's shared privately. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. So now I would like to hand you back to Miguel. So, and he will continue.
Well, I think that's been all for this evening. It's been an amazing journey. We've been able to, well, at least witness, no, and then get all that feeling from your words, Giselle. Thank you so much for this. First thing, love how you were able to get us, well, to the favela, to the culture, but not only. I think it was really interesting how coming from this kind of game that you see it has this artistic approach, you are actually giving so many good tips for any project, any app. I can see like, well, how you got your users into the development from the first moment, no? How you ask people for photos, how you ask about their favorite places, how you took their, well, their feelings, their likes and dislikes into account, even like you said, their own language, no? So putting your user in the design of the app of the game since the beginning, fantastic idea. I think one of the takeouts for today. Also, how to use art as a communication tool, not just for, well, art meaning, but also giving the values, the culture, the setting. Even you could like be there, no? It's also like transporting you there and getting that part of that life. So thank you so much for the whole thing, all the tips we can take. So that was a great talk, really. But I will also like to thank Kira. I think it's really nice how she's playing apps up. And you know, if you have any app or game you would like to be part of the apps app contest, there's a lot of prizes you can get. So yeah, please go on to Discord website, find us in LinkedIn, anywhere, and ask us if we can help you. We will do as much as we can. And finally, thank to everyone. I know it's hard to get the time, but I think it was worth it. Like I said, great evening with a lot of takeout and a lot of the things and lessons that can be learned from here. So one of the takeouts I will do for myself is I would like this to actually become kind of a community. So look for us anywhere on, yeah, like I said, any social media, anywhere, and follow the game, follow us, and try to get into, well, more about the game app development, new technologies, all that these events are about. So thank you and have a wonderful evening. Ciao.
Ciao. You can also follow the game here on social media, and you can download the PC game for free on this link I put in the chat. All right, so thank you so much everybody as well for listening. Feel free to write. Bye.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.